Okay, learners, it has come to my attention that whenever you come across more than one interest rate, you get confused or frustrated, mainly because of in the lower grades, specifically grade 10, you were only dealing with one interest rate. So now, because of there are more than one, you get confused.
I have an example here with me that will help us to analyze this. So the problem is that from grade 10, you always had the one interest rate. Okay, and then now in grade 11, you have more than two. Okay, so let me just give this a topic calling it changing, calculations involving changing interest rates. Okay, let's just say changing interest rates. Let me lock my screen. Changing interest. Allow me to use a small letter R for rates. Okay, changing interest rates. So let's call it changing interest rate. It will be our topic. Okay, so let's check this scenario that we have here and analyze it. Okay, so it says that 50,000 rand is deposited into a savings account. Okay, so now the interest rate for the first 3 years of the savings, it is 12% per annum compounded half yearly. You see, we are dealing with 12% per annum compounded half yearly. So if it was ending here, I know that with most of the learners will be able to answer this. But then now the problem becomes when they bring another interest rate. I don't know what's wrong with you guys, but then the moment they bring another interest rate, you get confused. Like what's happening in this scenario. Thereafter, okay, I'm continuing to read here. Thereafter, the interest rate changes to 18% per annum compounded monthly. Okay, so we have another interest rate there. You see, it has changed from 12%, which was compounded half yearly. Do you still remember what do we talk about when we talk about half yearly? We talk about 2 here, ne? And then now it is compounded monthly, which is 12. Okay, so then it continues to say that the money is left to grow for a further 4 years. Calculate the future value of the investment at the end of 7-year saving period. Okay, so with such problems, I advise every learner to have a timeline. Okay, draw a timeline and demarcate it into the years that you are given on the statement. What do I mean by that? I'm just going to draw a timeline with you, and then I'm just going to show my demarcations on how you need to demarcate your timeline. Let me just reduce my font a bit. So now, let's draw our timeline. Here's our timeline. Okay, it is important to draw a timeline. So our timeline, let me just say that, of course, it starts at 0. All your timelines will start at 0. Okay, then this will be the beginning of your timeline, and then now you have to know where is it going to end. Okay, so where you're going to get that, you are going to get it here. Okay, so let's read the statement again. And learners, I advise you to read thoroughly. Read your statements thoroughly. Read your scenarios thoroughly. Make sure that you understand each and every word that is given there. Okay, so 50,000 is deposited into savings account. Okay, so this 50,000, let's also analyze it. Okay, with this 50,000 that is given here, you know that it is your P, okay, is deposited into savings account, the interest rate for the first 3 years. So now I want you to notice the 3 years. Okay, so the first statement, let me highlight it red, or let me underline it red. For the first 3 years, okay, it runs for the 3-year period. Okay, so and then we have 50,000 there, which was deposited at 12% per annum. Let's have another one. Thereafter, the interest rate changes to 18% per annum compounded monthly. Okay, so that 3 years, it is the red part. Okay, and then thereafter, the interest rate changes to 18% per annum compounded monthly. The money is left to grow there for a further 4 years. So we have another statement. Let me make it blue. So you see from here, and then it goes there. And then even after full stop, the statement after the full stop here still goes with the one of the 18%. So the blue statement. So you have two statements here. The first 3 years, it is the red part. And then there, 4 year, it is the blue part. Okay, then the question says that they want you to calculate the future value of the investment at the end of the 7-year savings period. So this 7-year savings period, you should understand that it is the combination of the first 3 years and the 4 years thereafter. Okay, so the 7 years, it is made up of what? The first 4 years, the first 3 years, and then the 4 years that is following. So let us demarcate our timeline into 7 years. So this is going to be the year 7. Okay, so let's just say that this is year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Okay, year 6, year 7. Okay, allow me to change my 7 and put it there. Okay, so we have 7 years, but then we should remember that the first 3 years, we are on the red stage. The first 3 years, it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so for the first 3 years, we have 50,000. All right. It is deposited up until for the 3rd year. Okay. And then it is deposited at how many percent? 12% per annum compounded month, half yearly. And then, so meaning that the first transaction that we are going to run, it runs from here up until there. This will be our first transaction. Okay? And then we have another investment that will run. So thereafter the interest rate. So now notice that they have changed the interest rate. After the 3 years, they changed the interest rate. And then after they have changed the interest rates, they changed it to 18%, right? And then now they left that money for how long? For 4 years. So then it goes there. Okay, so this is going to be the 4 years. Our 4 years is going to start here. Okay, so now our 4 years, it's going to be our year 1 on this new 4 years. It's going to be 5. No, I'm sorry about it. It's going to be 4, 5, and 6, and 7. Okay, and then notice that I am moving from left to right. I hope you have noticed that I am moving from left to right because of the reason why I'm moving from left to right. Let me unlock my page. So I'm moving from left to right. You should have noticed that, ne? I'm moving from left to right. Why? Because of I'm moving from the present going to the future. You know, from the present going to the future. So I'm going forward. But then if I wanted to know the present from the future, so it means that I was gonna move from the future and then go back to the present, of which will be our next example. But then now I am moving from the present to the future. So that's why my timeline is going like that. Okay. But then there will be a point where I need to move from the future and then going back to the present. So meaning that I will be moving from there, going back there. I hope that makes sense. So now let's do our calculations. So what type of a formula are we going to use to calculate this? So you can simply see that we are going to use a compound interest formula, right? We are going to use the compound interest formula. Why? Because of we have the word that guide us there says that it is compounded half yearly. Okay, so the interest rate for the first 3 years, it is compounded half yearly. So for the first, so our N on the red part, I'm sorry about that. So okay, our N on the red part, it is 3, right? And then what else do we need to know? Okay, our percentage there, it is 0.12, ne? Our I, it is 0.12. Let's fix the blue one quickly as well. So for the blue one, our N, it is going to be 4 years, and our I, it is going to be 0.18. Okay, I hope I have given you the information that you all need. And the other thing that I just want to tell you before I go to calculations, so this money, you're going to calculate the money that you are going to get, which I always refer to it as future. So I normally prefer to say this. So I prefer to say that A, it is about your future, and then P, it is about your present. Okay, so now you have 50,000, which is present, and then this 50,000 that you have, which is present, it's gonna run for 3 years, and then after 3 years, on the red part, on the red side, that 50,000, after it has accumulated or after it has lost the value, it's gonna be a future on the red part. But then now the future of the red part, which is the future of the red part, it will be the present of the blue part, because of the blue part starts where the red part ends. Okay, so it's gonna start just right from here, and then it's gonna continue. So meaning that when we start this new transaction, what will be our P? Our P will be the future that we got on the red part. So remember here, this is our present. We start with 50,000, then we will calculate the future, and then this future here, it will be future for the red part, but then this is exactly where the blue part starts. So meaning that now the blue part will start on the future of the red. So meaning the amount that we would have got here, we will start with it, and then it will be present now, and then we will calculate the future, which will be the future of this whole 7 years. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Then let's do our calculations quickly. So now we are on the red part, right? So the red part, let's write our formula. A is equals to P into 1 plus I to the power of N. Okay, but then A, which is our future. And then our P, the money that we start with, it is 50,000. It is given there, right? And then we say 1 plus I. Okay, I. We have worked out our I already there. And we said it was 0.12, remember? Which is 12%. Ne? So our I is going to be 0.12. But then do not forget your compounding period. It was compounded what? 12% per annum, compounded half yearly. So half yearly, we simply divide by 2 there. Okay, and then our N, how many years was it supposed to last? It was supposed to last for 3 years. Do not forget your compounding period. You multiply by 2 there. Okay, and then your A will be, you simply press your calculator, you press everything that appears there, and then when you press your calculator, you will find that your answer there at T3, it is going to be 70,925. And then there are these cents here. Please don't round them off yet because of the transaction still continues. 95,000. No, 95,561. Okay. And then remember this A now. It is the A here after 3 years. But then remember I said after 3 years, this is exactly where our blue transaction will run. So let's start our blue transaction. So we say that A, it is equals to P into 1 plus I to the power of N. Okay, so now we want to calculate this money after 7 years. How much is it going to be? So A, it is equals to our present. Remember, this is future for the red part, but then it is where the blue part starts, meaning that it is the present for the blue part. Okay, and then I'm gonna simply say that 70,925. Remember, I said that do not round off those cents. 95, so that it doesn't lose the quality. Okay, 1 plus our I for the blue part. You see now it has changed. It is 0.18. Oh Jesus. 0.18 all divided by what is the compounding period for this one, guys? So the compounding period for this one, it was compounded monthly. So since it's compounded monthly, I am going to divide by 12. Okay, so even there, our N, it is going to run for 4-year period. So 4 times 12. Okay, 4 times 12 right there. Okay, I don't have a space, so let's write it here. 4 times 12. Let's write it somewhere there. 4 times 12. Okay, so this, it's supposed to be your index or exponent. And then you put this on your calculator. Then you tell us how much is it going to be. Okay, so I get 144,935 rands and 65 cents. I have already rounded it off. So this will be our final answer. Okay, so this is the money that we'll have at year 7. Okay, so notice that we didn't just do it straight, but then what happened is that we did the first few months, we divided it into 2. We did the first few years, which is 3 years, and then after the 3 years, We started from the year 3 and we continue to the year 7. And then by the year 7, this is all the money that you would have accumulated, or that the investment would have accumulated at year 7, okay, which is this point here. Okay, I hope this helps. So there is homework for you. Okay guys, this is our homework, your exercise. Okay, so you can screenshot it, or you can just, you can screenshot this part. Let's start by screenshotting number 1 and number 2. Okay, so I want all of them, and then once you completed this, we can do the corrections together, and I will tell if you understood or there are things that you did not manage to understand. So just do number 1, number 2. I hope you screenshot that. And here's number 3. Number 3 says that Mpho deposits 90,000 into savings account, paying 13% per annum compounded monthly. After 5 years, the interest rate increases by 2%. 3 years later, the interest rate decreases by 1%. Okay, so here there are about 3 interest rates involved, and then the other one is decreasing. Okay, so just the logic, don't be scared by this, just apply your mind, and I hope you get it right. It's not difficult at all, don't get scared. So I hope you get everything correct. And then all the best with this. Thank you.